Back at it again.
Welcome back, Adam. Good to see you again.
You sure?
No, it didn't touch on stencils because I have a bone to pick there.
It's
I'm having so much fun because there's
so many tiny little details and strangenesses from everyone.
To be honest, like we're at that stage of tattooing where it's like we've kind of seen it all, and it's getting to a stage where it's getting a bit ridiculous, in my opinion. There's no point having that sort of like diamond chain and stuff like that. No, again, being a bit hypocritical.
You're pretty blinged out.
I wear that all the time. I wear this all the time, you know. Alright, so welcome to episode 2
Hi guys.
of the process of tattooing.
Back at it again.
Welcome back, Adam. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, sir. So,
well,
last time.
Yeah, previously you heard me talk about preparation for a tattoo.
Yep.
And how, just like any trade work, it's key
How
in
important
success.
it is, yeah.
Yeah. No, it didn't touch on stencils because I have a bone to pick there.
It's
So with stencils, it's especially at the very beginning, it is so important to have to understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You as a person doing it, where everything goes. Mm-hmm. And before all these printers, realism printers started coming out, we had to do everything by hand. And then these so you have the spare paper and then you put the design over the top of it.
And trace over it?
Yeah, and you have to basically trace the design. And that's why tattoos back then took a wee bit longer to do, because you had to do the stencil by hand. And if you messed up, or the application on the client's skin,
you had to start again.
Yeah, and you'd have to go back to it. So it could be an hour, 2 or 3 before you even get started, which really prolonged the whole process. And then the thermal printers started coming out. So whenever you print off the design, if it's black line work, you can feed it through the printer on through the spare paper, and it'll just come out.
Just does it like that?
Yeah, and
amazing.
That revolutionized everything. It's really sped up the whole kind of preparation for a tattoo. And now you can literally just plug the printer in and connect up your spare papers, to the printer, hit print, and then it'll print off whatever design you want.
Incredible.
And it'll capture the tiny sort of details as well. Now that kind of made stencils a wee bit more sort of lazy, so some of the viewers might notice on my Instagram, and whenever I'm uploading kind of the before and after, this how the stencil looks.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks like trash, but see, to me that makes it more fun. I'll explain why, actually.
Okay.
So at the beginning, you want to create the outline, say whatever design you're doing. Say if it's like a portrait, for example, you would put in your guide marks where you're going to do shade and so on, and you're using specific kind of line work to display where exactly everything is going to go, and it's up to you as a tattoo artist to decide. Remember where you put that sort of shading. So it's literally just working with shapes, so that's very standardized. That's very okay, you're doing it this way, it's okay. And then whenever the newest printers start coming out with the realism printers, it's too easy, because you're doing exactly,
yeah, it's just filling
what
in.
You see. Yeah. But some of my stencils don't really come out very easy to know where you're putting things, and it can be extremely chaotic. But for me, that's really fun, especially at this stage of my career, because I know what I'm doing. I could technically freehand stuff as well, but again, I don't like to be not prepared for it.
Absolutely not.
So whenever I'm printing off the design, even though a stencil might not be easy to understand, once I put it on, I know exactly what I'm doing anyway, because I have my reference. I'm always referring back to it.
You've already done the preparation. It's already there.
Yeah. So although my senses might look trash, I'm still able to work with it, and Yeah, but at the beginning you always have to have like the stencil basically perfect. Maybe
Yeah.
even doing it like 2 or 3 times to make sure you can understand it before going ahead and doing it. But even to this day, I might still use the previous stencil methods. Maybe doing it by hand if it's
Really?
easy enough. Yeah, it just keeps things exciting.
Yeah, it keeps you ticking, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's just depending on what I'm doing on the day. It's like if I feel that like it's better to do one method, I might just do that.
You just go and do it.
Yeah,
Because you
'cause-
have that inherent skill, you've got that experience behind you, you can make that kind of choice.
Yeah, yeah, and so it just really depends on like the outcome's going to be exactly the same.
Yeah, it's going to be the
you
same
know?
level of quality, you guarantee, of course.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, like there's not a whole lot else, sort of can really talk about, stencils, but with freehand work, again, it just really depends what I'm doing, because like once I put the stencil on, I might like draw on like a few like flow lines.
Yeah,
know?
you might just change it up completely with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, just be like, oh, how would you feel about this? Like really talking the client like through the whole kind of like process of what I think would look cool, and then basically let them sort of make a decision.
And that works for you? Is that the standard process that most artists would go through, or do you think this is something that you've developed for yourself?
Well, it's completely up to themselves. I can't speak for other artists. But for me, yeah, like
That just
it
works
is fun.
perfectly.
Like I've seen artists just literally just freehand the design, and then boom, they just go and tattoo it. Which
That's
is
crazy.
I mean, like to like a client's point of view, it's like, wow, yeah,
Yeah, it looks
that looks
impressive.
cool, that looks amazing. But it's not really that difficult. It just really. I'm just saying, like,
No, it's all good.
I could do it if I
Oh,
want,
absolutely.
but it just take longer, in my opinion, to do it.
Why not do it the better way that you have, the better form?
Yeah, it's like I'd rather be more prepared. Like client comes in, measure it out, boom, let's go.
Ready to
Instead
go
of
for it.
wasting time in the morning and energy being like, oh yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. You might make the argument that like, hey, it flows better, but like if you already understand the flow of the body, how would it make?
It's not even necessary. It's just an
Not
additional.
necessarily, exactly. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I might end up just like freehanding a few things. I just don't record it, and that's my problem actually. Like even with cover ups, I'm like, oh yeah, this was a cover up. I don't even know where where the original image is.
Even was, yeah.
Yeah, or like maybe I'm too lazy to go back into like the client's folder to pull it out to then
Pick it back up again for like a moment.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is the cover up that we used to cover. It's like,
It's unnecessary.
yeah, like I mean, it is fun. And like I understand why like people want
go
me
ahead
to
and do
display,
it,
but it's
yeah.
just like I just don't do it sometimes. It's like maybe mid tattoo, I'm like, did we ever get a photo of this cover up? And then they're like, oh, I don't think so. It's like, oh well, yeah, whatever, but no, like I do keep a record of all different sort of tattoos I've done in the past, and like especially like
Lots of different styles and techniques and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, like large projects as well, like step-by-step process. So literally it took, geez, I'd say two full days, like literally from morning I woke up to the moment I went to sleep to organize those folders, to talk about them. That's what the next series is going to be, client series.
Talking through all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to obviously ask their permission to talk about their tattoos. But,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start to show, the audience, like all the different tattoos that I've done.
Cool.
And the step-by-step process
yeah.
and the challenges sort of faced with them. Like, it's funny because I have a weird memory where I know exactly what happened during that tattoo by just simply looking at a tattoo. So I can't wait to talk about it. Yeah,
You'll just have a million stories, I imagine.
yeah, there is a lot of them. Some like really deep, like really heartfelt
stuff,
ones.
yeah.
So
I'm personally very excited for that one then.
yeah, no, it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be really good.
So look, I mean, we've talked about stencils, which is like the very beginning. What about the very end? What about like the aftercare and stuff like that?
Oh, well, there's lots of different actually ways to look after a tattoo. It depends on the artist as well, because you'll hear different things from different people,
Yeah.
and there's no universally one way of doing it. You know, it's really fine tuning it to find what's right for you.
Yeah, what suits you and the client.
Yeah, like one of the wildest ones that I've heard is keep the tattoo covered for 2 weeks. You know, with the
Oh,
clean film. Yeah, I'm like, what? What? Why would you do that? You
that is an
know,
insane amount of time.
that's ridiculous. You know, but like the guy, I was getting tattooed by like a guest artist, right? That's what he recommended me to do,
2 weeks.
and I was already learning at this stage. And I was like, that's really strange. And I was trying to like ask why, you know, a bit of a language barrier
Yeah, yeah.
there, you know. But he's basically trying to explain that like it holds the color and the pigmentation more because it has time to, I guess, marinate.
Oh, and it does marinate.
Yeah. So I was like, right, okay, so clean film for that night, and then wash in the morning, and then clean film the rest of the day, clean before bed, and then, you know, wrap
Yeah.
again, and just keep doing that for 2 weeks.
That's
I
just
was
so
like,
excessive.
yeah, and it's like, oh, but it stops from like, you know, it rubbing against things and stuff. Like, I kind of get
You
it.
can understand like where it's coming from. Yeah.
Yeah, but as like, you know, even more that I progressed from my like career, like the more I've started to realize air is actually what heals the tattoo. You know, that's why like the old school artists would have been like, just do nothing,
Yeah, just wear it out.
just clean every now and then, because like then it's just like a cut. You know, it's gonna heal, you know,
Yeah.
by itself. You don't really need anything. You know, and then other artists are like, oh, you have to like moisturize and use the aftercare cream like 2 or 3 times a day, you know. And I was like, right, okay. So basically I've narrowed it down to like as soon as your tattoo appointment is finished, whether if it's small enough, we'll give you second skin, right? But provided that your skin isn't like too like swollen and angry and bleeding, you know, because like if that's the case, then you
You gotta approach it differently.
yeah, just do a traditional aftercare routine, you know. Even if it's in like a difficult area where we think the second skin is going to come off, do the traditional method. But so we save the second skin only for like small, minimal trauma tattoos, you know, like fine line work and stuff like that, because one, it allows like air through the second skin,
Yeah.
and allows the tattoo to breathe without allowing bacteria at the tattoo
To get in
and
there.
two, it also stops rubbing against different like pieces of
Clothing and stuff.
so on.
Yeah.
And three, like it is waterproof, but it's not like indestructible. So I always tell people like, look, you know, just avoid direct contact with the water.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. Whereas like and then just take it off after 5 or 7 days, you know, because by then your skin's starting to like
Heal itself,
yeah,
tighten.
it's at that stage of healing where like it will start to like scab over more, and it needs more like air, and it needs that cleaning, like rough kind of cleaning aspect to it to
Get the excess off. It's not a nice thing to discuss, but
yeah, but that's why we pick scabs. You know, like whenever we get a cut, we start picking at the scab, because then like once the scab comes off, like it starts to reheal itself. Now that's not an excuse to pick your scabs,
do not
guys.
pick at your scabs.
Do not do that. Naturally let them fall off, and when you're cleaning, that's when it naturally
Stuff will
help.
just come off. Yeah.
So yeah, with second skin it is good, but sometimes, you know, people might have an allergic reaction to it.
Really?
It's very rare, but your skin might not like it because maybe it needs to breathe a wee bit more. Maybe it doesn't like having that kind of like sticky residue on it, you know. Or maybe it's at a difficult sort of moving area where, like, say if you're working in the area too much, like stretching,
It's always
and so
going to
on,
be moving and going.
it's just causing a bit too much irritation, you know. In that situation, just take it off.
Because you could say, because like obviously the stenciling, the tattooing, all of it comes into the aspect of making it look great. But would you say that the aftercare is almost as important to make sure that the tattoo comes out how you want it to?
Oh yeah, massively. There's a lot more to it, but I actually just want to talk about the traditional aspect of tattooing and why it's possibly like the best way forward with like
Ooh.
big work, you know.
All right, yeah.
It's because once the tattoo session is done, wrap it up in cling film, right? And then whenever the client gets home and whenever the pulsating kind of stops, that sort of sensation, that's when the client needs to wash her hands and then take cling film off and give it a good clean with hot water. So I will say hot water, not warm water, just because it opens up the pores in the skin a lot more. So anything stuck inside the pores, like excess ink or blood,
gets washed out.
Yeah, it washes it out. You know, that's the stuff that's gonna like scab over, like bit
cause
more.
you problems.
Yeah, it's gonna scab over more. You know, so you know, like hot water. What I mean by that is like more shower temperature, not like scalding hot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a fine line to find in there.
Yeah, but through my personal experience, I found that literally just sprinkling some onto the tattoo, just until the skin gets used to it, is better than all at once.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep.
And then give it a really good clean with the soap, and that gets deep in the pores and washes anything out. And then give it a cool rinse, and the cool rinse basically
cleanses it back up.
Yeah, and cools the skin down, helps with the swelling, takes the redness out as well. And then leave it to dry. I even say from now that, you know, leave it like fully exposed to air until you go to sleep, and be very careful not to touch against anything.
Yeah.
Because anything that touches it, like a tiniest even
has a chance.
Yeah, even tiniest little hair can cause an infection. You know, like the wrong bit of dust, you know, containing the wrong bacteria can potentially cause it. And yeah, so then just wrap it up just until tonight. Maybe even give it a quick clean before going to bed, depending
how you feel in there.
How long it's been since the last wash, you know. And then overnight your body will bleed a wee bit more, expelling some more ink, because, you know, it's just bleeding.
Just part of it, part of the process.
So that naturally just pushes some of the ink out. So no matter how well the tattoo is saturated, you're
going to get a little bit of leakage.
You might still not have like the best saturation in the world, depending on how much you bleed throughout the night, because blood dilutes the ink and pushes it out. You know, so like even the most perfect tattoo in the world might not heal well because of that. Now, bleeding in a tattoo can come from many different reasons. You know, it could be trauma to the skin through the tattooing process. But it's also like your stress levels, you know, like, are you going for a stressful time? Are you moving house? What's going on, you know? Did you get enough sleep? Were you too excited the night before so you didn't sleep?
Classic.
You know, so then you're going to bleed a bit more. Did you get like enough food? Did you get enough nutrients? Did you get enough fluid? You know, there's so many different little aspects. It's crazy to determine, you know.
Yeah, it's impossible really to determine before it all happens.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why it's like, okay, you know, you thought you saturated the tattoo well enough. You think that like the tattoo is perfect, and then the client message you being like, oh, it's faded a wee bit in these parts and so on. It's like, oh, great. You know, that's why like bolder tattoos work out a wee bit better, because you do have all that chance to like saturate it. Whereas like fine line work, what do you do in that situation?
What can you do for it?
But yeah, because like the whole purpose of that is like to not to saturate it too much, where it becomes bold.
Yeah.
But saturated enough that it stays.
That it stays around. I mean, trying to find that halfway house must be impossible.
But what happens when it fades through that process of it bleeding, of it swelling, of like, you know, those external factors I just mentioned? You know, it's like, oh, so it's your fault as a tattoo artist because you done the tattoo?
You're getting the blame, of course.
Exactly. It's like, okay, so that's another battle you're facing, you know? It's
another
like,
expectation on top of you, like.
Yeah. So... yeah, that's that, you know. But yeah, through the reason why we use the aftercare, which contradicts what like the traditional like, OGs would have told you to do nothing, you know, is because whenever a tattoo starts to look and feel dry, because we've covered so much area, the skin becomes very tense, and you know, whenever like you're stretching it, there's more chance of it like ripping and breaking, you know, causing damage to the tattoo. More ink falls out. Yeah. You know,
so keeping it moisturized and lubed
more,
is...
and like for more finer tattoos, you know, like just like finer sort of shading, you know, if it flakes up, it's going to fade, you know. So it's like, okay, that's where the aftercare comes into place, you know, where you're rubbing the tattoo aftercare into the skin to loosen it up so it doesn't
happen as badly. Yeah.
So there's a happy medium there, and whenever you're getting into tattooing, as a customer getting tattoos, that's a really difficult thing to understand.
To get used to,
Yeah, and imagine you as a tattoo artist having to explain that to every single person every single day.
Oh, God.
Naturally, you're going to forget to mention different things. That's why we have a written version.
Yeah.
But even on a written version, you're forgetting, you're confusing the client because you're giving them too much information. So it's like, okay, clearly a certain level of trial and error on their behalf is required.
Yeah.
So once again, why are we to blame?
Yeah,
for
how can you help out with that? You can only do so much before it is on the customer to do the rest.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why it's so important to take photos of a tattoo once you finish, even though you might not think it's worthy of a post or whatever.
It's good to have that trail, that paper trail.
Yeah, exactly. Just because they come back to you, it's like, oh, can we get a touch up on this? It's like, okay, but I'm gonna have to charge you for a touch up. It's like, why? Because it faded, and you done the tattoo, and I done everything the right way. It's like, how do we know? How do we know that you done everything the right way?
And it's probably, there's probably frustration from both sides. I'm sure the customer is frustrated that it's happened without understanding fully why it has. So the blame falls on you.
Yeah, so for the business aspect of it, you always want to try to find a happy medium.
Of course, you want to keep people happy.
And every case is different, and you as a tattoo artist need to figure out, okay, what went wrong? Why did it go wrong?
How can I do this better next time?
Could it be in an awkward area where it's constantly rubbing against things? It's are you picking at it in your sleep? I don't know.
Yeah, you have no idea.
Factors, yeah. But back in the day, artists would have recommended, bepanthen and cocoa butter and so on, But I have a thing about that because bepanthen, it's a nappy rash cream. It's very thick. So if the client doesn't realize hey, I need to let my tattoo breathe.
Yeah, they're slathering it on.
Yeah, and maybe making the mistake that I did whenever I got my first tattoo and layering it on, thinking that the cream heals.
Yeah, it's protecting it. Yeah,
it's not the case. You
need that air.
Yeah, so tattoo artists then. There's been a lot more development in the industry, so we now understand exactly what the body needs for ultimate sort of healing, and creams have been developed for all the natural nutrients that your body needs.
That you need, yeah.
Without the added sort of chemicals of perfumes and moisturizers and stuff like that, because again, even cocoa butter, I feel is a wee bit too thick.
Again, it just stifles air.
Yeah, no, cocoa butter and stuff, I think that's good once the tattoo starts to heal a wee bit more.
But not at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's good for a tattoo artist to find a cream that works best for tattoos, during that first week or two of the healing process, and then switch over to a moisturizer.
And for you, that was...
Yeah, that's what I've learned now from my own experience.
And you recommend aftercare then? That's the...
yeah, so I don't want to mention the aftercare that we provide.
Specifically,
Yeah, because we might end up changing in the future, so who what's
knows,
the point?
Yeah.
And I don't know, I might come across something tomorrow morning where
it's just twice as good, yeah.
Exactly,
you just don't know.
And no, I do still try different aftercares, my own tattoos, just see what works,
nice.
Better if I can find it.
Giving
better.
Up your body for your client's satisfaction, it's amazing.
It's like a tattoo artist with no tattoos. It's how do you know? Yeah, it's there's a reason why tattoo artists have a lot of tattoo artists actually have bad tattoos. Because they've learned through trial and error. They know what's right, what's wrong, and what works best. That's why I feel it's so important as a tattoo artist to have tattoos.
You have to have tattoos. Yes, it's a prerequisite.
But there's a certain level of fame that comes with not having tattoos as a tattoo artist. Because then they're like, oh, look at
this guy's special.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So that's really interesting. So you've actually touched on quite a lot about the old school tattoo and the old ways, the old guard as it was. Here's one to throw you off. Where's the future? Where are we heading?
Oh well, it depends what you're. kind of like referring to like industry as a whole. That's a
Yeah.
whole ball game.
Oh, I can
but,
imagine there's a lot to it. Let's break it down a little
well,
bit.
let's talk about the development of tattoo machines first of all, because
Oh,
I
that's
feel
a good one.
that's came leaps and bounds since like the beginning. So I do talk about this a wee bit more in the tattooing training that we offer. But the basically, the first tattoo machine was developed through actually inspired by a school bell system, where the electricity runs through the coil and then hits the bar that hits the bell, and that inspired the first tattoo machine.
Yeah,
Because it's like, okay, what if we attach a needle to that bar?
Let's see where we get with that.
yeah, exactly. There you go. You just developed a tattoo machine, and that was like 1800s,
Really?
Yeah, prior to that, it was like the
old
tabori
stick and poke.
Yeah, stick and poke, and getting like bamboo stick,
And you do have a stick and poke artist.
Yeah,
practicing the old
yeah,
ways.
she took it of her own accord to learn hand poke, or like stick and poke, whatever way you want to phrase it. But yeah, I told her like, look, I can teach you the hygiene end of things, but when it comes to because like she didn't have enough confidence to go onto machine.
Yeah, because I imagine
it
it's
is
a big
scary.
jump. Yeah,
Like 100%. So she was like, look, I was thinking about maybe doing hand poke side tattoo. I was like, well, okay. When it comes to the techniques and that ends of things,
Yeah.
you're left to your own devices. But I can teach you the hygiene end of things, how to set up, how to perform a tattoo correctly, how to aftercare. Everything would be exactly the same, except the actual
stylization, the actual doing it itself.
Yeah. But it's very simple. Actually, it's the needle just goes into the skin one at a time. Whereas the machine goes like very
a
very
million.
quickly.
Yeah.
To put it in simple terms, you know what I mean.
So what about the machine you use then?
Okay, so. I use rotor machines, but there's a big difference between coil machines and rotor machines,
Okay.
right? And I'm so glad that like the industry grew into coil machines. Into rotor machines from coil machines, because coils were very heavy, very loud, and the vibrations would have like ran through your hand.
They rattled
Yeah,
you?
yeah, your whole body would be shaking after it. And the reason why I know is because I started off in coils at the beginning of my career. I think I talked about that in previous.
A little bit, yeah.
But basically, when you're using it, it just the noise was just horrendous, and by the end of it, your hand was still
You're
shaking.
just shaking like you have Parkinson's.
And then for my first tattoo, I was given rotary machine, which was actually a lot quieter, easier to use. And the difference is the coil machine you can tune to suit your style. But you would need multiple different ones to do like a big detailed tattoo.
Right.
Like say if the tattoo includes line work, like big thick lines or small thin lines, you would need two different machines to operate that. So that obviously takes longer to prepare for and to fine tune as well.
Costs and it's the whole
and
different-
imagine something went wrong, whereas like something broke in it or it wasn't tuned properly, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to stop everything that I'm doing to tune it to do it. So it's like it requires a certain passion and love for tattoo machines, and I admire anyone that does dedicate the time to do that and keep the tradition alive. But it's like
the industry standard these days is...
I'm just trying to find a sort of comparison. It's like entering a race. You have a Lamborghini, or you've got a like old beaten up
Chevy
Ford Mustang. Looks beautiful, like it is great, keeps a heritage going, but how would it last against like a Ferrari, Lamborghini? It's different ball game. But with rotary machines, you have to suit your style to the machine. That's the best way of sort of phrasing it.
Yeah.
And rotary machines can hit harder. I mean, you can tune your coil machine to hit just as hard as a rotary if you wanted.
But standard.
Yeah. I also tried the hybrid ones. Ink Machine, Dragonfly. That one's a bit of a hybrid, where you get the benefits of a coil machine in rotary machine, you know, which was really, really fun to use because it had the dampener effect as well, where like you go into a needle and the needle kind of pushes back in itself, you know.
Right, so it's a bit more stable.
No, it's a wee bit more like, say if you're really heavy-handed, that's really good, you know, for like those like traditional artists where you know, the go heavy, the stretch the skin, and then the dip and rip, you know.
Dip and rip.
Yeah. And you know, so with rotary machines now, it's a lot easier, more accessible for like new artists as well.
And it's still your preference.
Oh, 100%, yeah. But see, getting in the industry when I did, it was like the beginning of rotary machines, where there were lots of different ones.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like this is before I even became a tattoo artist. I was watching Miami Ink, or LA Ink. I can't remember which one it was now. But it was Amy James. He had this like gold tattoo machine, and I was like, "Yo, this is cool." You know,
sick.
Like that. See, if it wasn't for one of those shows, like, I probably wouldn't have been tattoo artist. That
Really, that was like an awakening.
Yeah, like watching that on TV, I was like, "Yo, I want my life to be like that." You know, and then like him coming out with the gold machine, so I was like, like to me that was like, yo, that's staple of like, you know, like I'm giving it my all, you know.
Yeah, this is everything.
Yeah, like the one tool, you know,
signify that for you.
Yeah. I was like, wow, like once I make it as a tattoo artist, I'm going to get myself a gold tattoo machine.
Yeah.
Not thinking like how it would make me kind of look, you know. It's like, oh, you look a bit narcissistic, or like a bit big-headed there with that machine there. You know, but the way I was looking at it was like, you know, this is like, I don't know, I set that goal for myself whenever I was a kid. I wanted to do it.
I mean, you said yourself you wanted to stand out, you wanted to be different.
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose.
What screams that more than a gold-plated tattooing machine?
You know what was crazy? The one that I selected to be customized like that, with my own logo and engraved and stuff like that, was actually the same company that done Amy James gold tattoo machine.
Was that something consciously?
No, like,
just
I didn't
happened?
even realise. It was like literally a year or two after I bought it. I seen the post on Facebook that like, oh, this one was made for Amy James. And I was like, oh my god, that was crazy, you know.
Followed his footsteps.
Yeah, that was a very awesome moment, you know.
I'm sure we'll have a picture of it up here.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, that like, I'm so glad the industry's moved on to rotary machines, because now I'm not worried about developing like any health consequences from using this crazy big, you know, machine, you know, and like not having to spend ages like setting up multiple different machines to
just do the one piece.
Yeah. So I'm so grateful for that, honestly, and I'm excited to see where like it goes from here. But I think we've reached like a certain level of innovation within tattoo machines. Now it's becoming very saturated with the same sort of stuff. So regardless of what machine you get, you can still do a good job.
You could do anything you want to with any one of them. It's just your personal preference.
And I have the same stance when it comes to needles as well. As long as it's 316L surgical steel, you know, that you're using, that's all that really matters. And like
the rest of it's all personal preference.
Yeah, no matter what brand you use, it's still like going to give you the same effect. You know, I've tried and tested like lots of different needles, and I always keep going back to the ones that I use because I enjoy it.
It felt best for you, on a personal level.
And honestly, it's not even to do anything with the needle itself. It's to do with the cartridge around it. I just love the feel of it, you know, whenever I'm using it, you know, how it feels.
It just feels right for you.
Yeah.
And that'll be different for every artist, I imagine.
Exactly, yeah. But then, again, you got the elitists where they're like, oh, only use this brand, and if you don't use this brand,
you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, you're doing it wrong.
So elitism probably is one of the worst things in any industry.
Oh, man, yeah.
So then, where do you think? You think that it's plateaued technology-wise? What about styles? What is the future in your mind of tattooing?
Oh, well, the market has definitely become very saturated. For sure. There's more and more people, you know, coming into the tattooing industry, and honestly, like, there's pros and cons of that, you know. Obviously, The cons would be like the artists that have been around for ages aren't really getting accustomed that they used to.
Yeah.
But you know, you could look at it other point of view where it's like maybe they are just stagnated in growth
They
and
haven't
they
grown
refuse
alongside.
to go outside the comfort zone and to develop themselves further. You
Mhm.
know, now there's two ways looking at it. You know, having customers in today's world as a tattoo artist. Yeah, you could be like one of the ones, you know, dancing around on TikTok, and you know, I'm a bit hypocritical of that because it is something that I will be doing.
Yep.
You know, but I will be doing it for perspective of trying to grow my studio, you know, which will benefit everyone else
Yeah.
in the studio and get the shop busier and build a little community around the studio, you know. But you know, like if you're going to be an artist like that, and not really care about the customer themselves, sorry, it's
You're never gonna get far.
exactly, yeah. Your customers aren't going to like return nowhere near as much
As they would do.
yeah, as the lateral, but I'll talk about that in a second. So, you know, it's like, okay, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers because you've hit the algorithm, because you're dancing around,
Yeah.
as well as showing off some of your work, which is good too. Like, don't get me wrong.
It's exposure.
Loads of good tattoo artists about doing that, you know, it's awesome. And they are getting the customers, and, you know, but they would only get like one big tattoo off them and be like, okay, awesome. But
You're not gonna get
it was
reoccurring
lifeless.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, it wasn't really like, oh, okay. I was just another tool in their
Progress. Yeah, it's-
exactly. Yeah, I was just that one portfolio. There was no substance. There's no authenticity there. There was no like, oh yeah, I love that experience. I'm going to refer all my friends to them.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep coming back to them. You know, and that always comes back to, you know, the business side of things. You know, where it's like you're treating your customer the
Just
way
like-
you want to be treated. You know, and it's like whenever somebody walks into like our studio, it's like, you know, I want them to belong, you know, like they've always been there.
It's
you
got to
know?
be friendly. It's got to be inviting. They got to feel like they are meant to be there, not
Yeah.
that they're just there for the moment.
Yeah, yeah. And like they can check out any time, but they can never leave.
Yeah.
It's the feeling. It's the feeling that I want to leave them with.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's why I've like.
That's why I think that's why you're doing so well. I think that's why AMAVI has this kind of well-known renown
Yeah.
about them. It is an inviting place. It is a lovely place to go
Yeah.
down to.
And there's so many people on this planet, you know, and if you're not getting custom, you have a look at yourself.
Yeah,
and
what are you doing wrong?
Yeah, and like ask yourself, how can I make the experience better? Because like although your tattoos might be just as good as like the world's best, if you don't treat your customers rightly, then they're not going to come back.
You're not going to come back,
Yeah, and you only need like a small group of people, you know, to kickstart your whole career, you know, and I feel that that's where we're kind of headed, you know. I don't think tattoos would ever become like a bubble, you know, where it's going to burst and nobody has custom. You know, it's like tattoos aren't just randomly going to
They're
go away.
probably here to stay for, I would say,
Oh,
probably quite some time.
Oh yeah, the way I sort of picture it is like another 50 years, maybe 100 years, even after my time, you know, like tattoos will still be around, you know, there will be more tattoo artists, but it's the ones that actually care about what they're doing and care about their customer.
It's not about the money. Yeah, it's not about growing the business.
Yeah.
It's about making something fulfilling for yourself,
It
about
should-
your art.
In my opinion, it should never be about money. Like, although, like, yeah, that's a good.
We all need money.
Yeah, yeah,
you
of
know,
course,
there's
yeah,
no way
yeah.
getting away from that.
And like, it's kind of come back to the whole point of like, what's your worth? It's what's your energy worth? Because it's an energy exchange, you know.
Yeah.
But as long as you can survive off of what you're doing and you have enough left over to, you know, like provide for a family,
Yeah.
and grow as an individual, that's all you really need. You know, it's like, why go?
Why do you need everything after that?
Yeah, yeah, and that's why I like live so like frugal, because I don't need those things. You know?
do live rather frugally. It's,
I just kind of like hoard stuff that I have, you know, and like if I pick stuff up over the years and go hoard it, you know, like because there's like a meaning behind things.
Yeah,
You know,
what's the purpose
but, like,
of it all?
There's no point having that sort of like diamond chain and stuff like that. No, again, being a bit hypocritical.
You're
but
pretty blinged
I
out.
wear that all the time. I wear this all the time, you know. This is me, you know.
That's
this is
yeah, it's your
special to me
style,
now, you know.
absolutely.
Yeah. Whereas like all, you know, just like I get like being like passionate about fashion and stuff like that, but when it becomes like yeah, where your money is
It's
going
just
to,
it's almost like just a sign that you're showing people
Yeah.
instead of something that's personal to yourself.
exactly, and just tattooing just to buy that thing, you know, is just that's a problem.
It should
I
never be
think.
just a job, right? It
But-
has to still be that passion.
Exactly, yeah. You have to be passionate about it in order to survive. And people feed into that. People see that.
People
do that.
feel that.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
yeah. And then they're just going to keep coming back for that, you know. But I just want to say that, like, I'm nothing against people that do care about
Of course,
materialistic
yeah.
things and so on. You know, it's like that's cool. That's the way you choose to live your life. You know, I'm just expressing my opinion.
We're not here to put anyone down by any
Exactly,
means.
yeah.
You know, these are all just opinions given out.
Yeah.
So I mean that one itself fascinating. Can you see any art styles that you think might be coming up? Anything that you find
Man.
might be quite
So,
interesting?
See, with art styles and tattoo styles, basically they were trendy back in the day. But what we're seeing now is, and this could be generalized to like all of internet, is we're seeing little pockets of different things. You know, so you know, the reason why I got my tree wraparound
Yes.
covered up is because that was trendy. That was circulating around everywhere. People are seeing that. People are screenshotting that, showing that to their artists. They're doing it.
Yeah,
you know,
just feed into the loop.
Yeah. So now, because like we've ran through a lot of different trends, like scenery circles.
Huge.
Right, you know, like there will always be trends, you know, like the 90s tribals,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, but now it's not so much so that there's trends, like there's little pockets of different ideas that people love and they are successful because they look good,
Yeah.
you know, and you do get repetitive stuff in, you know, like Greek mythology, for example. That's big, you know.
Huge one, yeah.
But
absolutely.
it's not all the time. You know, you don't just do that all the time, you know. That's why I'm having so much fun, because there's so many different things.
So many tiny little details and
Yeah.
strangenesses from everyone.
And to be honest, like we're at that stage of tattooing where it's like we've kind of seen it all.
Yeah.
You know, and it's getting to a stage where it's getting a bit ridiculous, in my opinion. And to a stage where like we're using AI to develop things further. You know, where it's like, you know, I'm seeing all these artists popping up, you know, coming out with like, all these tattoos that they've done and editing AI to make it look like a cake. You know, to make it more engaging, so that they can, like, customers can see it,
Yeah.
like their page, get booked in with them. You know, it's like, but what's
It's-
the point?
yeah,
Like,
what is the
your
entire
tattoo's not
point?
going to be AI. It's not going to be cake, man.
Using AI for it in any means, I feel like it almost detracts from you and your own style.
Dude, it's literally just to put you on the map. You
Yeah.
know, to put you in the public's eye to get followers. That's all it is, and that's fair enough. Like, who am I to
People
judge?
on the grind, absolutely.
I'm probably going to do the same thing. You know, like it doesn't really matter. You know, but it's just basically showing that, like, yeah, we are at that stage where it's like,
Yeah, where's it going?
yeah,
here?
like,
what's
there's nothing
happening?
like new and like original, and this is it. You know, this is the peak of it.
Well, I would say then what that would be that would be an encouragement to people. Are you the person that's going to make that big jump forward, that new exciting thing in the tattoo world?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think
It's that
anyone
easy.
will,
Yeah.
because there are so many different. Like, if you think you've done it, someone else has done it.
Oh
already,
yeah, you can't
know.
reinvent the wheel.
Exactly, yeah. But again, it's just like the innovation has shifted to tattoo ink now.
Yeah.
And man, this is another bomber. So EU has came out with a law, the REACH policy, whatever, which restricts the use of heavy metals in like inks and other sort of products.
Okay.
Right? Now, that's in basic terms. I'm not a scientist. I don't know what I'm talking
We don't know
about.
the exacts of it all.
Yeah, but basically that's affected a lot of different industries, not just tattooing.
Oh, yeah,
So like beauty industries, for example, they can't use specific dark tans anymore, so you can't get that deep pigmentation of
That they're looking for.
the fake
Yeah.
tan. Whereas like tattooing, same thing. Whereas like ink companies have basically had to go back to drawing boards. Like, okay, naturally ink is made out of heavy metals like blue
Yeah.
is cobalt, right? And that goes into the second layer of the skin.
Yeah.
Your skin heals over the top of it, and that's what keeps it there, right? And then your white blood cells slowly, kind of over the years, eat away at the ink particles. That's why tattoos tend to like spread,
Yeah.
right? So basically it's metal what we're using, not just like random inks,
That's really fascinating. Yeah.
So problem is, how are you meant to make ink without heavy metal particles?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like they've just gone and destroyed the whole
A
tattoo
huge
ink.
aspect of the
Yeah.
industry.
Now, because we were in Northern Ireland, technically part of UK, we
Yeah.
didn't think we were going to be affected by this, right? But no, environmental health, they phoned us up, like, hey, just to let you know, this law is
They're
coming
following
into
the
place
same-
in January.
Wow.
Just let you know, you're going to have to switch all your inks over. Have you started the process? And I was like, well, I didn't think it would.
You didn't think it affected
Yeah,
us.
I did. It's like, but okay, knowing what I know now, we're going to have to try that. So me as tattoo artist now, being in the game for a long, like,
Coming up 10 years
like
now.
basically
yeah.
a decade, now has to like, okay, go back to the drawing board and start experimenting with inks like I used to back in the day, because I find what works for me.
Yeah, you stuck with it.
Yeah, and like, I was achieving great results with that, No, it's not like, oh, you're stuck in like a, like stuck in your ways, refusing to grow. It's like, no, it's none of that. I have enough inks, colors, black and grey, like lots of different companies that I just choose to
Yeah, you find
pick
your
and choose
likeness
from.
for
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
absolutely.
No, like if something new came out, then yeah, I'd buy it.
You'd have an
I'd use it,
experiment, yeah.
But now it's like, oh, you can't use those inks. So everything you fine tuned that you find, like,
You're just being forced to shove it down the road.
yeah, and good luck figuring out like what works, what doesn't on your poor customers. It's like, oh, that's great, isn't it? Thanks for that. So guess what? These inks are way more expensive.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because obviously the development that had to go into
Yeah, it
them.
had to be so much more extra.
Exactly. So we bought the first edition ones, which is like like reputable ink companies coming out with
Their new version or whatever.
yeah,
it is.
yeah, like the EU REACH compliant compliant inks, and it's like, okay, cool, I'll try them. Absolute dog shit.
Bad, yeah.
Awful. Like they wouldn't saturate. Like see with ink, it's obviously mixed with like different like fillers, that mixes well and like helps that get into the skin. Problem is when you're pouring this out, it separates. So like in your ink cap, you're seeing like the white, the clear liquid, and then the pigmentation down at the bottom, and you're like, what the hell am I? I'm like dipping into this, shaking it up, like mixing
Trying to get it mixed in.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god. Like,
so is this a worry for you then going
absolutely,
forward?
that was a shock to the system. Where it's like, okay, I might having to like adapt to this through like my work, So like I'm saturating more, irritating the skin more. It's put as a result that pushes.
Yeah, it's pushed on the customers.
Yeah, and that pushes the ink out even more. So it's like, okay, great. So we kind of worked with that and to try and motivate customers like not to get color, because color was the biggest culprit.
Worst one for it.
Yeah, and black and grey inks. I tried 3 or 4 different companies before I settled on what I'm using now. And like what I'm using now is on par with what it used to be.
Right, but I
So,
imagine for twice the price.
yeah. I mean, it's come down a wee bit now because
Thank
like, it's a
goodness.
wee more developed. But yeah, it was just really challenging. So like the second edition ones were actually a wee bit better, and I actually quite preferred a few of those compared to what I was using prior, which is
fantastic.
awesome.
Yeah, that's exactly what you'd hope.
But what I noticed is like it's not as vibrant anymore. Once it heats, it's like it's dull.
Ugh.
It's like, okay, that's great. And then like the third editions now, like as it's developed more, I'm noticing more and more like new inks came out. It's like awesome. Let's try that. And the same brand of ink that I'm using for black work came out with colors. I was like, fantastic, yes, let's go. So I ordered those, and yeah, they're great. Like most of them, some of them still are a bit meh.
Yeah.
But
You're hoping with a bit of time that hopefully improves the next generation.
Yeah, hopefully. So I'm still like on the lookout for more stuff, for better things. And then I'm noticing like all these other artists, you know, like from different countries coming out with like these mad vibrant color inks. I'm like, I wish I could still
I
do
wish
that.
I could use heavy duty metals.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, man. Like I did not realize how good we had it with color ink, and
Yeah,
we were all
beforehand.
complaining because it was so much harder to work with color.
Yeah.
You know, because like you have to like fully saturate all the time. You know, and it was just like,
Didn't realize how well you had it.
yeah. How I wish we could go back. You know. So yeah, what the hell do we do with the ink that we currently have then, you know,
Yeah.
from the ones that are technically illegal and
The
we're
stuff
not
that
allowed
you've
to use?
spent money on already.
Yeah, it's honestly just sitting there. Like anyone wants to practice on like latex, by all means
Use
work
that
away,
stuff.
use those. Yeah, it saves us having to use the, you know, the expensive
The actual
stuff.
stuff. So I suppose that's good that you find a way to work around it then, that you can still find some way to utilize it.
Yeah, you have to, or else like just we're meant to do cry.
Yeah, I know. Gets back to the business side where you got to make everything work.
Yeah, and honestly, it actually worked out okay because like those things we can use for the training academy now as well. You know,
Which, I mean, that's fantastic. Well, that's great. It's great that you've managed to overcome something that has been a serious hit.
Yeah.
And, you know, yet again shows that, you know, often governments are just seemingly are there to try and get in the way of small businesses. And if this isn't a perfect example of it, I don't know what is.
Yeah. Well, actually, just one of the last points I want to say about the tattoo ink as well. Like there are like crazy things that are sort of happening, like UV ink, for example, as well. And it's like you know people
Cool.
want that, you know.
That
but
does sound sick.
again, it's just like include more chemicals into a mix. I don't know what's involved
What's
in
that
that.
going to
Yeah,
be?
no reputable sort of ink company that I've heard of that I've used previously do that.
Really?
And it's not like readily available for tattoo artists.
So
that,
then there's a worry there. What's going
to
happen?
me, that's a bit of a red flag. I'm not willing to take that risk. You know, just in case something happens. You know.
Because you don't know what that's going to be like 5-10 years down the line.
Exactly. Like I'm in it for like the lifetime. You know, of good solid work.
Yeah.
You know, not just
You don't want to be trapped by something 5 years on that you did just once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, oh, you know, my arm had to be amputated because of this, you know, that was something crazy like that. But then there's like more development, like ink that is light sensitive. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's Bang Bang in New York, like massive, like
Producer.
studio. Like it's an artist, but he's opened a studio. And
Oh,
it's-
sick.
in central New York, you know, it's like huge.
Cool.
He's been making like a lot of development in the tattooing industry. He's doing like furniture now as well, you know, like tattoo beds and stuff. And then done like a manless tattoo machine. Well, actually, we'll talk about that in a second. And you done ink as well. This you can put it into the skin, and then you can run like light over it, and then it shows up. And then you can
Crazy.
run light over it again, and it disappears.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool, but like, why? Like, I'm not like trying to talk down on him or anything like that, but like, okay, why are we over engineering this now? Like,
What's the real purpose of it?
Yeah, to be honest, I think he's just bored. You know.
Hey, that's all innovations driven by boredom.
Exactly, I suppose. But yeah, back on the manless tattoo machines. Like some artists are worried that like, oh, machines are going to replace us as well.
It's a fear everyone has.
I don't think it will.
No?
Simply because like they already exist, right? And like, see, for tiny realism, I think that'll work fine. Even like bigger sort of work, you know, like inner forearms. But I think they're all going to be like a one-off piece. You know, and like if you need a touch up, you're gonna have to go to the tattoo artist get a touch up, because I don't think a machine.
How can a
actually-
machine do it?
Yeah, it can register like, okay, what points do we go back into, blah blah blah, you know, and I think it's gonna really struggle like adding to it and making it flow throughout the body.
Absolutely, because it's a machine. It doesn't have
Exactly.
the human ingenuity that I believe is probably something that's required to do the job.
I don't think it would have ever happened. And also like taking into consideration all the multiple different factors come into play when you're working with skin. You know, like the age of the client, the elasticity of the skin, like even like medical factors. You know, but yeah, when it comes to large pieces, I don't think it'll ever come
It'll
to
ever
it.
take off.
Yeah, and also, what about the very, very difficult, dangerous areas? You know, like
You want a machine
like
working on that?
necks, like your face, like sensitive areas like armpits, genitals, bottom of the feet, like palms, fingers are maybe, but
you want humans for it. A machine doesn't understand pain.
Exactly, and it's so like lifeless. There's no like there's no experience with it, and again it just comes back to like treating clients the right way. Where it's like you're just gonna feel like soulless.
Well, I was gonna say, there's no way that works for something like your own place, because would you go into a tattoo parlor that there was no humans? You spoke to no one. It was silent. Like was just. I just think that it sounds awful. It sounds like a terrible
just sitting
experience.
there, all you hear is machines going.
Yeah, I mean, what is? There's no humanity to it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd imagine the program like some like basic NPC dialogue.
Oh, you think just to make small talk?
Great weather today.
Yeah. How are you? I just couldn't. For me personally, I could never imagine it. But I am myself personally very against the use of AI. And
but at the same time, they have AI girlfriends now, like so.
I know. I mean, I think at this point humanity's just done for. Yeah. Bigger problems in play.
Well, something
I wanted to touch on earlier. If you have any last points to make on this.
We've covered basically the kind of where the tattoo industry is going to go and like my opinion on it, but we haven't discussed conventions.
Exactly what I wanted to get into.
Yeah, because it's a natural sort of development in a tattoo artist's career. It's kind of like an unspoken rule that like, hey, once you've like became a tattoo artist, do conventions, open your own studio.
Yeah,
I don't think it's backwards. To be honest, it came from like my like mental health, where I didn't like not belongingness, like that's always been a thing with me. And like I didn't feel like I belonged in the tattoo studio, so I was like, okay, I'm definitely not going to get that in a convention, because like all those personalities similar to mine, to me that was chaos.
It's so much extra.
That would it would just be too much pressure, and also it's like really scary, and like being around tattoo artists you've looked up to as well, like studied, like like in the tattoo industry, and you're like, oh my god, I'm just going to geek out like so hard,
because there's so much extra pressure.
And they're watching you as well, and they're sparking all conversation with you and stuff like that, but there's like there's lots of I want to talk about actually conventions. So I choose like opening my own studio and to be honest, develop myself as a person, because I'm still like 27 at time of filming this.
Early days.
I'm only starting to realize who I am as a person, and like for my like what I went through to
finding yourself.
Here. Yeah, I'm finding myself, and I'm starting to gain that confidence to do convention, but. There's still things that are kind of like, it doesn't make sense to me why they actually exist and why they're popular.
Oh yeah?
And to be honest, I mean, I kind of do, I kind of don't, right? So you as a tattoo artist, you like say you have your own studio, you are you still need to like pay the bills,
of course,
like you have to pay rent, rates, you have to like obviously charge your customers for that, right? So when you're at a convention, it's like, well, why are you doing a convention? It's like, are you trying to gain popularity in that area?
Publicity.
But if it's a local tattoo convention, if it's local, then surrounding areas already kind of like know.
Are you not already known to these people?
Exactly, yeah. So like, why would you get your name out there? Okay, cool, but you've just put yourself in a boat with every other artist. So would that not make it harder for you to
because suddenly
get your name out there,
with everyone else who's there, comparably to being your own individual.
Yeah. So okay, but then as a tattoo artist, then you have to buy a booth, and say if you're going as a studio, you have to buy a bigger booth, and
there's got to be a huge amount of costs.
So that on top of your already existing bills, okay, you have to take that into consideration. And then okay, so are you bringing a client with you? Because if you are you charging them the same amount? Because you have all these overheads now, additional stuff
on top of the overheads you were already thinking about.
Yeah, exactly. So then it's like, okay, you're gonna have to charge them more, but then like, what's the point in them doing that at a convention, And then
why do they care enough to pay that extra?
And then, like, say if they're not wanting to get something that like you want to do that's
To show it off or whatever.
convention worthy.
Yeah,
I think all tattoos should be convention
Oh,
worthy.
of course, yeah.
You know, but you know, in this situation, it's like, okay, you're gonna have to like almost like force them to get what you want. You know, so it's like, oh, okay,
There's so many more things to think about.
yeah, and then of course, like say, okay, what if you're trying to find a customer at the convention?
Okay.
You know, or you're kind of
Putting your
throwing yourself.
hope out there.
Yeah, you're kind of putting yourself in the dark. You know, like trying to get a customer there, because you might not. You know.
Yeah, there could just be no one in for it, or no one who wants to get the stuff you're
Yeah.
thinking about.
And then what about the preparation work as well? Because then, like, if you do get that customer, it's like, okay, you need to. You're going from scratch. You know, it's like, okay, so it needs to suit the area. You need to do this. You need to do that. So you need to have already multiple different things prepared
Just
for it.
already ready to go.
Yeah,
Preparation you can't really do.
Yeah, ready for anything, man. You know, it's like, okay, and you're not in the right kind of headspace. You don't have that preparation to do the best
Yeah.
tattoo you can. You know,
Which we talked about how important preparation is.
exactly, yeah. And then, of course, like the different categories push you to do what is necessary to enter the category to try and win an award.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming that's one of the main attractions of a convention, to try and win.
You winning something, getting your name out there even more. Yeah.
So, like, say you are entering like a large black and grey category, okay? So you're going to have to put in the work,
The
like,
effort,
you know?
like, yeah.
Yeah, you're rushing for a tattoo, trying to do the best you can and get through it.
It's
Oh,
busy. It's loud.
Oh,
it's
yeah, like,
hot. You
yeah,
know.
yeah, like by people literally staring at you, talking about you and stuff like that. Maybe like on your break, and a tattoo artist comes up and starts talking about, you know, talking
Whatever
to you, and
it
then
is,
wasting
yeah.
more of your time. So it's like eating away at the time you're tattooing. So it's like there's so many variable factors. Like it's enough to make me go crazy, you know.
That's enough to keep you away from them.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, that's a lot, you know. So yeah, and then at the same time, you know, I went to a couple of conventions. I didn't work them, but I was
You
tattooed
wanted
at
to
one.
see it, yeah.
And was walking around one as well, and then seeing like people get all these like large scale projects shaking because they're in shock of getting so much work done. So I do not.
It's not a good environment for
Yeah,
it.
I do not want to put my client through that. You know, it's like, why is it like that? You know, and then see, to be honest, like even seeing like, you know, all these artists like you know, reveal like they were at this convention or that convention. Like I've seen like some of the other artists at the same convention do better work than they have, and you know they've won the award.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not fair.
Yeah, that's another idea about the entire thing.
Yeah, so like, are you like, it's making it very difficult to see past the fact that like this person has a lot more followers and shouting out this convention and won the first prize than this person that didn't even qualify.
Yeah, but did, in your mind, better work.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's like, how is that? You know, that's dodgy, you know, like I don't want to work with that, you know.
It just seems like an awful kind of environment. It seems like an antithesis to actually doing tattooing. It seems like the worst place possible for it, because I can't even imagine. Another thing about it is like, I can't even imagine the, you know, the dirt, the kind of nastiness.
Oh, well, yeah, that's another thing actually. Like a lot of conventions don't even consider the fact of the basic kind of rules that it should follow, you know,
Yeah.
like cleanable floors. A lot of them are carpets, you know, and it's like, yeah, try and get ink and blood off of, you know.
Disgusting.
Yeah, you're going to have to like deep clean the whole carpet. It's like, ugh. You know, it's like, that's not cool. Yeah, and then it's so easy to get overwhelmed. Like, I literally seen like even like footage of like artists like taking a photo of the tattoo they've done with their gloves on.
Oh, God.
And it's like, you've literally just touched your client.
You've just contaminated it.
Yeah, and it's like maybe they're in the mind frame. It's like, okay, everything's overwhelming. They kind of overlook that simple hygiene rule.
Yeah, because there's so much else going on.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about the normal steps that you should be taking.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a way bit much. So I don't actually see the point of them, but I kind of do at the same time.
There's exceptions. I
Yeah,
imagine.
maybe you've reached that plateau in your career where it's like, okay, things are going extremely well. I'm booked out. You know, I have my studio. I'm comfortable. All I want to do now is just be surrounded by like-minded people.
Yeah.
And I think that's when somebody should do a convention.
Yeah.
If they want to network with other people, like, hey,
Perfect.
love your work. You've inspired a lot of my tattoos. Actually sparking up conversation. I think that's arguably what it's more important about than trying to win an award, or like trying to like show up to like get noticed by customers and stuff like that, or like
you think it's all about the networking.
Yeah, 100%. Just get to know people. It's like, oh, like, oh, you're a tattooer, some tattooer. It's like, I just like going to, like after parties, like having a few drinks, getting to know them, that sort of thing. Maybe guest spotting with them so you can travel around that area.
Yeah, have a little bit more from that.
Yeah, so like you could travel with it. I feel that's, why it's good to sort of do conventions.
I suppose, you could say maybe if you're going to do a convention, just for a very specific example of us, there was maybe a convention down south, so there's like a client base that maybe you wouldn't usually hit. Maybe that's an opportunity to get your name out there a little bit more.
Well, like when you're talking about client bases, you're one man.
Yeah, true.
How many tattoos could you realistically do if you're already busy in your local area?
You don't need that extra.
Why would I need a clientele from all around the world? It's like, okay, I don't. It's like
that's just not something that's necessary. Yeah.
Again, if there was two of me, or if I could constantly evolve myself into multiple different beings,
suddenly it sounds like a lot more viable.
Yeah, that's a lot more enticing. Yeah.
I know the costs alone for myself personally, I would just be thinking, why am I spending so much money on this entire thing?
Yeah.
Because so you said the booth, like from what I know of a booth cost, it's insane. For something like a convention, and then you put that on top of everything else, the worries about your client, the worries about your own work, and the cleanliness.
Talking about worries, what about the equipment? Are they going to tell you what equipment they have?
Yeah, or you're meant to bring.
Yeah, and like, what if you get stuff, and what if this convention is abroad in a different, like, it's like you're going to carry all that. It's like...
It's just so much extra to think about.
Yeah, and then what about the negligence on the convention's part? If they forget something, it's like, oh, that's great, you've just shot me in the foot.
Yeah, it's literally you screwed over after you've pumped in how much money into the entire thing,
exactly.
How much time.
Yeah, so the whole thing could go disastrous, like, very, very quick,
So you, on a personal level, you're thinking conventions, really, except for the very specific circumstances?
Talking about specific circumstances, if you are an artist with a specific style that you want to follow, that you want to do, and isn't getting custom in that area, that's where conventions and traveling becomes very appealing, because then you can contact different studios, you can contact different conventions, advertise your work through that, and get the custom that you need, so you can build a portfolio and the following online to get the people that want to get your style all around the world.
So that's a perfect example of why you would want to go to conventions if you were in that kind of circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that would work. That makes sense. But again, it's not me.
You've already you've already got yourself sorted.
Yeah. Well, not trying to be big-headed.
You're allowed to be big-headed every so often.
It just goes back to what I'm saying. It's like I just love all different styles. Yeah. So like, why would I? Yeah. Why would I do convention? Like,
especially when you're already fully booked.
So I'm just going to wait a while until like I'm fully like,
satisfied, sitting happy,
where I
sitting
am.
Good,
yeah. And have fun with it. Like go to them to network and say hello to different people and like enjoy my experience.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a business thing necessarily.
Yeah, instead of going out of like competitiveness, that sort of thing.
That's awesome, man. What a great mindset to have for it. We've talked about a lot of things today, but one of the things that you've really put aside as one of the most important parts is, like, of course, the clients.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
No, this is going to lead into the next series, and this is why I want to leave it to the end. I don't even know
what to even discuss with this.
And maybe I could finish on talking about the book. And to be honest, like some of the points we can carry on to the next episode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
next series, because we're already,
we've had a good amount of time.
Yeah. So back on the clients, and as a transition to the next series, I guess, is a lot of people. When you're dealing with clients, you're not just dealing with an NPC. You got to treat them like they are you, you know.
Because they're a human being.
Exactly. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Funny enough. And you know, there's a really good book that I read. It was a friend of mine sent me. It was like, hey, I thought you could use this, you know, just to
A little bit of inspiration there.
yeah. Not like oh, hey,
you need this.
Yeah, you need this. Yeah. No, it's just like, hey, it actually puts things into perspective, you know. It's I'll attach a book and, you know, to the link and stuff. But it's called "Could This Be Magic? Tattooing as Liberation Work." Now, I actually wish I wrote down who wrote it, but I'll link the book, you know. But it took some really good points, and it basically talks about all different reasons why, you know, like, people get tattoos, and what is your duty as a tattoo artist, and how to do it safely in a respectful manner, and you know, considering like all the different sort of, you know,
all the challenges that come with it, I imagine. And
yeah, because like people, you know, come to you, you know, like, hey, I just had a miscarriage. Can I get? I want to get a tattoo to symbolize my unborn child.
Yeah.
And it's like,
how do you approach a person like that? A situation like that?
Yeah. So exactly. You do. Well, I don't want to get too much into it.
No, yeah, we can move on.
That'll
to
be next
later.
series, but it's just basically talking about those points, you know, and it's, you know, like, hey, I just I just came out of the closet. I want to celebrate, you know, my newfound self, you know, that sort of thing. It's like, okay, you come as a tattoo artist, you come across all these different, like,
reasonings and the thought process behind how they're getting the tattoo.
Yeah, and I feel that, like, that's so untapped, you know, untalked about, you know, and I feel that, like, a lot of tattoo artists, you know, especially starting out, how they can maybe handle a situation better, you know, how you know, they well,
it's how they approach it, how they deal with the person. I mean, it's not someone comes in and they say, I want a really cool tattoo. That's great. They're a client. That's fantastic. When someone comes in with something like that, with a miscarriage, or they're proud to be gay, something like that,
have to handle it with a certain level of care.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
hugely.
Yeah, and a certain level of humanity behind it. Not just like, all right, sit down.
It's not just another tick. For this person, it's incredibly important. It's deep. It's meaningful to them.
Yeah, and you gotta respect that, you know, as like the person doing it, as you're part of their journey. You're part of their lifestyle. They're forever gonna remember that, you know.
This could be just a job to you, but to them, this is very personal, very meaningful.
You know, actually, I might even you know, take a lot of the important stuff, you know, from that book and just maybe even talk about it even more.
I think that's a great idea.
And maybe I'll even mention the author this time.
That's also a great idea.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. Like,
I think this is one of the ones I'm most excited to get into, the client side, because I think it's just going to give a little bit more personalization to this entire thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, really show how you deal with your clients as not just clients, but as people.
Yeah, and more importantly, how it separates us from machines.
A perfect example.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's good sort of.
I'm excited. I like that little sneak tease at what's to come.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you so much, guys.
I think I've covered everything, but.
As always, we miss points.
Nothing will ever compare to, like, I can't articulate my passion for tattooing enough, you know. So hopefully summarize it in a good way. But
you want to see it in person, join the Tattoo Academy.
Yeah. If you want to learn how to do the tattoo training, you know.
AMAVI offers an incredible course for anyone trying to start out and get into the industry.
That's it. But we're going to actually do the whole series about that, you know, talking about the whole kind of, you know, reason why we did it and, you know, diving into it. But I think that's going to be...
it'll be its own entire thing.
Yeah, maybe that could be the next series, because I need to bring our piercer on board here, Connor, and, you know, talk about the piercing training with him here, and... you know, I think that could be the next one, as well as, you know, the
us
client
leading
one.
Into the clients,
So Yeah, a lot to come. A lot to come.
We're,
All right.
guys, we're very excited. We have so much we want to talk to you about all this stuff, and Alexi is full of ideas that he wants to get out there. Thank you so much for watching. We're very excited. Sign off.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. All right. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye,
Adios.
guys.